Let's all scream. Let's all scream. Scream, let's all scream.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's All Scream. My name is Saleh Al Braik,
I'm Shehlaa Ali.
And I'm Hassan Al Marashi.
and this is our 7th episode.
And Saleh's back.
Yay!
Welcome back.
Thank you. It feels weird not and actually seeing your expressions on your face. For those who are just tuning in to this episode for the first time, the last 2 weeks we were on lockdown, and so all of our podcasts, or the two previous episodes, were done
Over the phone.
Yeah.
with myself. So it was a bit weird, but finally the lockdown was lifted as of 2 days ago, or this is the second day actually.
This is the second
yeah,
day.
I
Yesterday
think
was
so.
the first day.
Yeah, so we have like a partial lockdown right now, so that is why you can hear me now.
More clearly.
Yeah.
More clearly.
It was so weird to see you walk through, and I'm just like, oh my god, he's back.
Although I was getting used to it was like being on a phone interview for
Yeah.
a really long time.
And I was actually looking up ways of making it better, and so one of the options people suggested was having a Zoom call and recording
Yeah.
the audio from that. But thankfully, we don't have to do that right anymore.
Yeah.
And hopefully it stays this way.
Yeah, I hope so too.
But it's really good to be back.
It's good to have you.
And it's
Yeah.
good to be around. You know, one of the nice things about the restrictions was that they now allow everyone to visit their friends and family, of course, within, no, I think maximum capacity of more than 10 people, or 5 to 10 people. I've seen different news.
Okay.
Because I have seen some articles that said 10,
Yeah.
and some articles that said 5 people.
Yeah.
I've seen 5. That's the thing. So I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, we're just 3.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
we're okay.
And the baby's asleep, so maybe she
Yeah.
counts as half.
But
A
Ramadan,
quarter.
Ramadan Mubarak to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Wishing you
Yeah.
all a happy and safe Ramadan this year. Obviously, this year is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I think I think we've all gotten to appreciate more our connections with each other and our
Yeah.
relationships,
Yeah.
and especially those with family and close friends. So I just want to open it up to you guys. How do you feel this Ramadan?
For me, Ramadan has been this year okay so far. It is much different. Just pushing everything aside, it's just having a baby. This is the first
Yeah.
year, so that alone has been much of a challenge, I would say.
You can't sleep in until iftar.
No, you can't. You can't even sleep in until 8 a.m. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? I've been up from 5 a.m. this morning and I haven't slept. And right now it's what, 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
I'm dreaming about that pill. But it's been good. I've just basically been focusing on the family and just
Taking it a day at a time, pretty much.
I mean, it is just the second day, so I can't really say much about Ramadan.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far I don't mind it.
I think speaking for myself, it is definitely a different Ramadan for those people not very familiar with Ramadan. So obviously we fast, which means refraining from food and drink. From, I would say, again, it's technically not literally sunrise to sunset, but
Yeah.
more or less those hours. So you're talking about over 14, 15 hours, specifically here in the UAE. It's different, of course, in different countries. And so for me, and when it comes to Ramadan and things that I am used to, or things that I like,
Yeah.
is so when you break your fast in the at sunset, that's one of the main meals that you have with your family. And then after that, basically in the night, what usually happens with at least my circle of friends and my circle of family is we usually have gatherings at night, and we call them like suhoor gatherings, or where we invite friends or we're invited to other people's houses,
Yeah.
and you're just, playing board games, having
Yeah.
fun, talking, obviously food and drinks, and it's just a really good time. And for those that know me, I've always had an open majlis policy. And again, for those of you who don't know, a majlis is basically like your living room or where you
Yeah.
gather.
Yeah.
And for me, I always used to have an open door policy whereby after a certain time, say after 9 p.m., any of my friends and family are welcome to come in.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, the thing I will miss
Yeah.
this time around, is just having those group gatherings and the memories that go around it. But you know what? Like Hassan said, we just have to kind of take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
And it's a new normal right now. It's not going to be forever, but I'm thankful that I do have at least loved ones around me,
Yeah.
and that I have my health and the more important thing. So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
I'm happy about it, but I'm also a bit down.
I do miss your majlis gathering.
Yeah.
though. Like, although last year we didn't, just because I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sleeping by 8
Yeah.
p.m. I remember. So I didn't really get to enjoy the gatherings. So this isn't the first year I don't experience that, but I still do miss it. And I was
Yeah.
looking forward to it this year.
Yeah.
And
I
just
think-
seeing family and friends.
Yeah, and as much as Ramadan is obviously a very important religious month, it's also very social, and I think socializing is very important during this month to a lot of people. And so I think definitely things have taken a different turn this year, and I'm sure lots of people are feeling that. But I think we have to also keep in mind that, like you said, Sai, this is not forever, and this is just this year.
Yeah.
And we have to keep in mind the bigger picture, by maintaining social distancing and following all the regulations. We're not only keeping ourselves safe, but we're keeping others safe.
Yeah.
I think that's the nicest thing, a twist that you can put on it, is that it is intentionally you keeping yourselves and your loved ones safe, and then obviously your loved ones as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just kind of us looking out for each other. So I think, yes, we will miss that social aspect, but Ramadan, like you said, is a much bigger thing. It's also a spiritual
Yeah.
reconnection.
Yeah.
So those values are still very strong, and it's not forever. I think we just have to, like I said, adjust to this new norm and take it one day at a time, and then see what happens. But thankfully, at least we get to see each other.
Yeah.
But speaking of spiritually, that's something that I do want to focus on this year. I think every year I do get involved into the whole gatherings and just seeing friends and family. And so this year I'm trying to set that goal of let me focus on
The spirituality
the
part
spirituality
of it. Yeah.
part of it, me connecting with God, and like even I'm trying to like focus more on the prayer, and not just on the prayer, but like, for example, the quality of the prayer and reading Quran and just all of that. So yeah.
And refocusing that connection. Yeah, I was actually just about to say, I think a lot of the times the socializing overshadows the true importance, which is the spirituality. And you mentioned, Saleh, that it's a month where we fast from eating and drinking, but it's also a month where you fast from other things like lying or being hurtful.
Being patient.
You need to be more patient.
Giving.
More kind.
More
Giving,
giving.
and there's lots that goes with it. So
I remember, and Hassan knows because I think he's partaken. What is the right word? You took part. I was like, what? Blah. So he took part in a few charitable. So that's something that I miss also, is that every Ramadan, and those who know me, is I always like to volunteer, not just in Ramadan, but more so in Ramadan, because there are so many charitable organizations doing charity foundations or drives around, especially food packing for those less fortunate. And so that, unfortunately, is still happening, but not in the same way. We do have a lot of initiatives that are now virtual, whereby you can go and donate, but the actual physical hard labor where you go and pack meals and stuff, that obviously isn't happening. So I'm going to miss that aspect of it. But it's one of the nice things about the month is also the giving aspect.
Yeah, and I think the closest thing I can compare it to is, we've seen like in the West, or particularly in Christianity, around Christmas, they talk about the Christmas spirit and the spirit of giving and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the same with us with Ramadan. Not that they're similar holidays,
Yeah.
but just that spirit of giving and being charitable is very emphasized in Ramadan.
Actually, now that you mention it, that's something that I am missing this year. Is usually I make like the small appetizers I'll send to like my friends' houses, or they'll send me a few
neighbors,
things,
Yeah.
and that's this year is actually missing from it, just because
And the lights. The
The
lights and
lights,
the
oh,
malls and the
yeah.
lights on
Yeah.
the road, because we usually have all the trees and the roads and the signboards and the malls are all decorated with
Yeah.
with lights of Ramadan, with the moon and the stars.
that's so true.
That's something that is
I
nice.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and now we're going back into nostalgia. But speaking of the month, if we're
Yeah.
gonna go into obviously a very important topic of food.
Yes.
Of course.
I wanted to know from you
What-
guys, what
yeah.
are the main things that you look forward to when it comes to that, the iftar table when you're about to break your fast?
Yeah.
What's the one thing that has to be there?
on the table.
Maybe not every day, but at least something that you crave.
I mean, it's gonna sound so stupid, but literally dates. I feel like it's not Ramadan, or I'm not breaking my fast if I don't start it with a date.
Right. And for those who don't know, it's tradition to break your fast with a date. Yeah.
So I just find that if that's not on the table, or if I don't break my fast with a date, I feel like that's not me basically breaking my fast. It's just me eating a meal.
Actually, a question
Yeah.
that came to my mind, since you spent a lot of Ramadans in Canada,
Yeah.
were dates very accessible?
Yeah,
I
we
mean, to
felt we were-
purchase?
I think what we used to do is just get it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to the month or the few weeks before Ramadan,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're not going to be able to find it as much. But you don't go to, you go to the So we did have like supermarkets, like Middle Eastern supermarkets.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you would go there
Makes
and buy
sense.
them.
Actually, you'd be surprised. The one way that Canada differs from the US is there's a huge and very concentrated Middle Eastern community.
Community,
Okay.
yeah. So
and
even
a Muslim community.
Yeah,
So in
even-
America, there is obviously a huge population, but it's kind
Yeah.
of spread out. Unless you go to like certain areas like Detroit or something. But in Canada, it's like
Okay,
very
that's
concentrated.
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I remember in school during during lunch break, we wouldn't sit with everyone else and eat. They would actually send us to the library, and then we would have like one of the older students sit and read Quran, and we would just follow along. Or
Oh, that's so nice.
we had like. At least we were able to go to a different room. I remember
Okay.
they respected that. So like we did have enough of a community that we would actually be able to separate ourselves
Yeah.
during lunchtime.
Speaking of dates,
Yeah.
and this is at fault to my mom, by the way.
Okay.
I've become a date connoisseur.
Oh really?
Basically.
Do tell. What does that mean?
I've just become very bougie now with dates, because obviously we
Do you
had
know
all
the different types of dates?
Well, no, that my dad is obsessed with different types of dates.
Okay.
It's not that. There's definitely so many stores here that we have
Yeah.
that and have now like added things within dates. So, for example, an orange peel, a lemon peel, ginger peel,
Yeah.
almonds,
Chocolate-covered,
chocolate
yeah.
covered, white chocolate, dark chocolate,
Yeah.
pistachio filled.
Yeah.
And so I think it was a few Ramadans ago where my mom wanted to change things up and started introducing these like bougie dates
Yeah.
into the collection, and obviously I became addicted, and
Okay.
too much of a good thing isn't good for you.
Yeah.
So I started like hugging them and they would always notice that it was mainly my mom kept it for guests when we had
Okay.
people over for iftar,
Iftar?
not just the direct family.
Yeah.
So I obviously didn't listen, and so now I can't go back. I can't go back to just regular
regular
normal
Plain old,
plain old
run-of-the-mill dates.
My mom used to actually take the pressed dates. She used to take them and then mix them with butter, and I mixed it with sesame seeds and or coconut flakes. Ooh, now I want to make those.
And she makes, I think, if it's what I'm thinking of, it's like these kind of dates, truffles almost.
Basically, yeah.
Oh.
And she used to put walnuts inside, or nuts, and
But you used to do them.
Yeah, this year I haven't done. I haven't been able to get my hands on the press dates.
Yeah.
And which is I'm still looking. I'm still looking on InstaShop and like all these other like places, trying to get them. But I think I'm gonna have to actually, if I were to get them, I have to go and get them myself.
If anyone out there wants to donate press
yes.
dates, please call us at 800 Shehlaa.
But actually don't, because we are social distancing. For me, so I'm not actually that big on dates, but if I had to have them, my favorite way to have them is bithith.
Okay.
Which, for those who don't know, it's an Emirati way of preparing dates, and it's kind of like you kind of make the dates into a powder. I don't know how to describe
it. No, it's with I believe it's with butter and flour.
Yeah, and but the consistency, I mean, it becomes kind of like powdery.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Is it powdery? I'm trying to think.
There's different ways, by the way. Like some
Yeah.
people make it more textured, and
Yeah.
some people make it more cake flour-like.
Yeah. It's like having cake flour, kind of, but dry. Not,
you know what?
Not very.
It reminds
wet.
me of cookie dough, but like dry cookie
Yeah,
dough.
exactly. Yeah.
Not like the moist.
Yeah. It sounds. I'm making it
one.
sound. I'm not advertising it well, but it's really.
It's
delicious.
really nice.
And
Now I want cookie dough.
I want bithith now. Guys, we only have a few hours until we have to fast again.
But I like it because it's a different way of having it, and it's not as sweet and intense. But going back to your question, Saleh, about what I have to have at the table, for me, it's any kind of finger food. So, like whether it's sambusa or samosa, or like I don't know.
عنب.
Yeah.
Which is the
No,
cookies?
that something more like crispy, fried, basically.
Okay.
At least one like fried.
Yeah, the kubas.
Yeah. Or I don't know, a puff pastry dish or something.
Oh,
Something within a pastry. That's what, I don't know why, but like for me, that's Ramadan.
Ramadan, yeah.
Savory.
Yeah.
Yeah, savory. Always.
What about you, Saleh?
For me, there is so it's actually not something that is edible. Like it's not a food. It's
Okay.
a drink.
Okay.
So most people know I would assume most people know the drink Vimto.
Yeah.
And so everyone, obviously Vimto, for those who don't know, is basically a very thick
It's like a syrup that you dilute in water,
In
and
water.
becomes like a juice, a drink.
yeah, and it's like, I guess, grape flavored, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
no, it's not grape flavored. It's
I'm actually not sure.
I don't know.
It does. It has its own flavor.
think-
You
yeah,
can't
it's a
really
mix
compare.
of things.
I
I
think the
think.
Arabs decided that Vimto is a fruit in its own right. But basically, so Vimto has a little bit of background, by the way. It's actually a drink that got popularized in the UK. It's actually, by the way, a drink from the UK.
Really?
Is it
Yes,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
and it was used basically in, I again, don't hold me to this, but this is what I read. It
Okay.
was used in one of the world wars
Ooh.
as the syrup, not to dilute it, but as the syrup to get the soldiers' sugar levels up.
Oh,
To keep
okay.
them basically active and, like basically like a sugar high, I guess, or something.
to give
Yeah.
them energy.
To give them energy. And so it's so funny how that's what it was used for. And then
Yeah.
it basically became popularized here, and it became popularized over Ramadan.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't know why. Like, actually, I think they even said that 80% of their yearly sales take
Is-
place in Ramadan. And guys, I don't know about your countries, but in the UAE, there's like a limit to how many you can buy.
But that's
Is
the
there
thing.
really?
Yeah. I mean, now not anymore, I'm sure. But basically, you can in the supermarkets,
Yeah.
each person, they don't say family, they say each individual can only take 4 bottles at a time.
Okay, but I mean, I've never bought more than 4 bottles.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
no,
gonna
I've seen
last you.
people. No, I've seen people going out.
Really? No,
literally,
I can't have more than a
The
glass, to be
most-
honest. It's very sweet.
The most I've bought during like I remember last year or the year before, I would buy 2.
No, I think people assume.
And
I
then
think
that's
people
it.
end up drinking
But you
the
know-
bottle itself.
Unless Vimto wants to sponsor us, then I'll drink as much as you.
but for me, it's actually
Yeah.
not the Vimto drink. So what we do in our house
Yeah,
is we
I
mix
know.
it with 7-Up.
Oh yeah.
So it becomes like a fizzy type. And yeah, guys, you can tag me if you're gonna end up making this, and I do take royalty fees if you're gonna end up
By the
using
way,
it.
McDonald's does that.
I know they
You
took it
know-
from me.
You know, I literally just spoke to my cousin this morning about it in Canada. He posted about Vimto, because even in Canada we have Vimto.
Yeah.
I don't know if people know that, but yeah, we have it, but you'll only find it, of course, in the Middle Eastern stores.
Yeah.
So he was saying that, guys, I don't know if you'll be able to get it, but if you can, Vimto is very much a Ramadan thing. And then I texted him and I told him, by the way, if you want, mix it with 7-Up and you'll never go back. And he's like, oh really? And I'm like, trust me, go do it and then come back
Yeah.
talk to me. So I just spoke to him about it, and you're the one who introduced me to that, and I can't unsee it, basically.
Yeah.
So you're welcome if you go and try it. But that's something for me that is
Yeah.
like a must in every table.
So speaking of like nostalgia, what are some funny Ramadan memories you have? For me, like I remember, this is not a specific memory, but it has happened. I'm sure a lot of people might be able to relate. But you know when you're fasting and then you forget, and so you accidentally like drink water or something, or have something to eat?
Yeah.
And then I get so mad when someone tells me, "Oh, you're fasting. You're not supposed to eat that." And I'm like, "Just let me live." Like,
You know, they've actually said you're not supposed to. If you see someone
Yeah,
drinking
I've heard
water,
that. You're not supposed to tell them.
Let them finish that drink or
and then
sip,
remind them.
and then yeah.
And remind
Yeah.
them. Oh
Yeah.
wow! I wish that someone told me that. I got
Yeah,
smacked
someone-
a couple of times. when I
Someone
was-
should have told the person that told me to stop drinking water.
But yeah, that's happened to me as well, where I've just basically, water is the main thing. Is I would pick up a glass of water.
Yeah, I think it's
And then-
for me. It's always, by the way, more thirst than hunger.
I mean,
Yeah,
this-
for me it's thirst and sleep. Those are the two that like really get to me.
I mean, this morning I was feeding the baby a bit of tomatoes, and I came to put it in my mouth, and I'm just like, oh wait. So like literally was at my lips, and I'm just like, okay, never mind. And that was literally within the first 2 days. So I don't know what's gonna happen with the rest of the month. But yeah, for me actually, I'm trying to remember a funny memory, which was me as a child. I would just go and eat like random chocolates, find them around the house, and then take them to my room, and then eat them like under the blanket and like close the door. And then my mom, of course, I just naturally come down with like nice chocolatey breath, and then my mom would just. I think she just ignored me, or just like let it slide. And then a few years ago, we were sitting with my family and my sisters, and we we're all confessing to like all these stories. And so I confessed, and Mom was like, "Yeah, I knew." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "I would literally go up to your room in the middle of the day and then see wrappers like underneath your bed, under your pillow." And so like it's quite obvious. I was like, oh, and here I thought like I got away with it, and I was so sly.
Well, for me, I have a few stories, but I'll start off with a kick. And I actually don't think, Shehlaa, you might know this, but not the story.
Okay.
So I wasn't the best teenager, and Hassan knows this. I was quite rebellious growing up. And one of the things I did when I was in university is I decided to just pack up and go on a vacation to China and not tell anyone. And it was I think I was 17 at
Oh,
the
yeah, I
time. It was
remember
my
this.
first year of
I
university.
think I've heard of this story.
Yeah, and I didn't tell my parents, and I
Okay.
was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And I didn't go. First of all, I was studying in the UK, so you can imagine it was a 14-hour flight. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I hid that from my parents or anyone for that matter. Obviously, there wasn't as much social media, so that was
Yeah.
easy. But then. My phone, obviously, I didn't have a Chinese number.
Yeah.
I've never been to China in my entire life. Anyway, it was a crazy time. Made it back and successful. Nobody knew anything. And then the thing is, how it tied to Ramadan was many years later.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, 7 years later. I think
Okay.
what was I? I was like 25 or 26.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting around the Ramadan, the iftar table when we were having
Yeah.
our all our family was surrounding. My dad was there, my mom was there, and everything. It was Ramadan.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, I don't know why.
It just came out.
It just came out years later, and I was just like, Baba, Mama, in the spirit of the holy month of Ramadan, and because it's the year of forgiveness and patience, I'm gonna tell you something. 7 years ago, I went to China and I never told you. And I remembered my mom's jaw just like was
Hit
like
the floor.
was like, what? My dad continued eating because my dad was just like eating, and then she would look at my dad and
that's
she
new.
goes, she'd look at my dad and she'd be like, aren't you gonna say something to your son? And he goes, what do you want us to do? Go 7 years, back in the past and go and like punish him or something? Khalas, like he went, he did it, get over with it. And my mom was like, how? And I was like, I don't know. It was just like a spur of the moment. It was just so funny because I assumed that due to the fact that it was the holy month that you could get away with anything. So I was just like, what bomb am I going to give them this year? So yes, if anyone ever wants to seek forgiveness from their parents, I would
Yeah, this
suggest
would be a good
Ramadan since everyone is supposedly in a good mood.
Not while they're fasting, though.
No, I waited till after. Yeah,
they
I waited
eat.
till after they ate. But
But
actually, they didn't say anything.
I remember that. I remember you telling me that you had to like, when your mom would call, you had to like make, even if it was the middle of the night in China, you had to answer because you didn't want it to go to the voice,
the Chinese ringtone.
Yeah,
It was like because
the
it
dial tone.
was really like it was literally like Mission Impossible. But
I don't even know how you pulled that off.
I don't even know myself. Like I'm just such
And
a
the
worrywart.
guts, like
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
be terrified.
The guts alone. I'm a chicken
Yeah.
at heart, so I can't do anything.
And another funny story was when I was much younger. I think I was just, I don't even know, probably like 9 or 10 or something.
Yeah.
And I was practicing fasting.
Okay.
And I remembered I wanted to go to visit my friend's house, and my mom wasn't letting me. And I don't even know what the reason was.
Yeah.
And I remember all I was telling her on the phone, and she was on the phone. And I was so upset, and I was like, I can't believe you're not making me go to my friend's house. I want to go
Yeah.
to my friend's house. And then I said, you know what? I'll threaten her. And I was like, I'm going to go and eat Cocoa Pops. If you don't let me go to my friend's house, I'm going to
What?
break my fast. And all my mom says on the other side was like, hey, it's your conscience. It's not mine. Like, it's between you and God. So you want to break your fast, go. And like the tourist that I am, because I was so frustrated, I went into the kitchen and I sat there. I never ate cereal so angrily in my life. Like, I felt every crunch of that Cocoa Pops. Like, and then it was true though. She didn't feel bad at all.
And you accomplished literally
I
nothing.
accomplished nothing. I just end up feeling bad for myself because
it's
it
your
was
fast that you broke, not hers.
literally. I mean, until now,
fair enough, you were a kid. So
I was
it
a
doesn't
kid,
matter.
yeah. But, I just want to get, I don't know if I'll ever have forgiveness over that Cocoa Pops.
That is so funny. A question I wanted to ask you guys actually is, what's your Ramadan routine like?
For me, so I'm the type of person. So I've done it different each Ramadan, but basically, usually I'll wake up for suhoor,
Yeah.
which is the meal right before sunrise. That's supposed to carry you through until sunset, until you break your fast. So for me, usually I'll eat something. I usually unfortunately end up eating too heavy, and then I'm so bloated that I can't fall back asleep.
Yeah, you've been doing that the past 2 nights.
I know, yeah. But anyway, so usually I'll eat and then pray, and then pray the morning prayer, and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I try and find, obviously if it's during the week, then I'll be working.
Yeah.
So actually this year is going to be strange because I'll be working from home. But usually going to the office and coming back, that kind of passes the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so usually if it's during the week, I'll go to work and then I'll come back. I'll try and get an afternoon nap.
Okay.
I think I'll still try and do that this year because I did that today and it really helped.
Yeah.
And then obviously we break our fast. And for me, I am so full that I can't move. Even if I don't eat a lot, you just get so, obviously because all the blood is rushing to your stomach, you get so
Yeah.
lethargic.
Yeah, that's what. By the way, I think like people, for me personally, I never overeat. I actually just eat like I would
same
normally
amount,
do,
yeah.
but I just feel so bloated
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah, because I think because it's the speed at which you eat, probably,
Yeah.
because you're so hungry, you're so thirsty that, and even if you don't really feel it, but once the food is there,
Yeah.
and you start to have that first bite, the hunger just kind of
my
consumes
dad
you.
my dad does this, which I wish I can accomplish this, but I don't think I will. At least not for the next few years. Which is, he literally, actually what he does is he breaks his fast, and then he has soup, dates, and that's it. He gets up, prays, it takes his time. My mom like starts to heat up the food, the main dishes, and then sits down and have the main dish.
Yeah.
And that usually actually takes up, usually by the time all my sisters get up and pray, and like, it actually takes time to get the food there. It takes up for another half an hour to 45 minutes. So that way,
I actually do that, by the way, but I wish it were that like long.
Yeah.
But our family, we do that. We basically break our fast on dates and water.
Yeah.
Sometimes Arabic coffee if we want, and then we basically go. The men go pray, the women go pray as well, and then when we're all done praying, we go back, and even when we go back, we actually have soup. So technically, I would say the first 20 minutes is very light meals.
Yeah.
So that does help, I feel. But still, like, after the soup, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready full.
For me, I know soup is like a very traditional thing to have in Ramadan for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I never want to waste stomach space
on
in soup. Maybe that's just me, but like, I always want to jump to the main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wish I had that self-discipline to break my fast and pray. Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But I'd rather pray and then sit and break my fast.
That's what we've been doing, especially with the baby. I would basically, for me, my routine with iftar is I actually pray and then get up, and while Hassan is praying, I would quickly heat up the food and then set the table. And then we sit down and eat, which usually it's literally just 10 to 15 minutes because it's just us two. So it's not really that, doesn't take that much time.
Yeah.
But I wish I can, again, because you're sitting down and you're just eating all at once.
Yeah.
And I'm a soup person. So I do like my soup. Hassan doesn't. He just goes straight to the meal. But I like my soup, but like you said, by the time you finish the soup, you're just like, but there's no more space.
And I think it's always during Ramadan, you want to see a lot of, my mom used to always say this, you like to see lots of different dishes.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the problem, because you end up wanting to try a little bit of everything, but you pile on too much on your plate because your eyes are hungrier than your stomach.
My parents were actually not like that. Like, we would only have one dish on.
Wow, that's like
on like one
hardcore self-discipline.
We would have one dish, and then we would have the salad, which, by the way, I keep trying to change this about Hassan, and it's not working.
No, I don't do salads during Ramadan.
I try to make a salad for iftar, and he never has it. And I'm
but
just
I tell you what it is. It's because, I don't know if this is just me, but I can't do salads are usually, sour.
Yeah.
Or
Acidic.
acidic.
Yeah.
That's a better word. And I can't do, that feeling where your jaw clenches after you haven't had anything, and then you just have something sour or acidic straight away, and your jaw kind of tightens.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling, and I get that if obviously if I have a salad after I've been fasting.
Yeah.
And when I've been fasting all day, I just want something warm and comforting.
Yeah.
So salads don't do it for me during Ramadan.
I think for me, my schedule's a bit different. I can't sleep in. I've tried. My body is so used to. I'm an early bird, so I'm so used to waking up early.
Yeah.
These days, my sleeping in is 7 a.m., which doesn't really sound like sleeping in. So I'd be up at 7 a.m. and brush my teeth, everything, get ready.
Yeah.
I'm working from 8 a.m. Most people know I do have a full-time job, but I also have my own businesses that I run. So even in the weekends, it's 8 a.m. I clock into work, and now it's remotely. So I'm working up until, say, now because it's Ramadan, shorter hours. So say by 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm working. And then
Do you take a nap?
No, I go, which maybe some people find a bit crazy, but I like to work out before
Yeah.
I break my fast. I feel
Yeah.
like it's good. So yes, to answer your question, today I did try to take a nap. So when I'm done at 3 p.m., obviously there's a bit of time before you break your fast.
Yeah.
And so so I do try to take literally a short nap, and then I go out for a run.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I like doing that before I break my fast because I've been told it's healthier and like you burn fat
Yeah.
better before at the end of your fast.
At the end of the fast,
and
yeah.
then by the time I finish, go to my room, shower and get ready.
Yeah.
It's literally half an hour or so until we break our fast, which
Yeah.
is nothing. I can resist. And then after breaking my fast, that's when it used to be interesting before, because obviously you break your fast and everything fine. Everyone, we pray, we all gather, we have fun.
Yeah.
Then everyone has like an hour to 2 hour break, and then the night gathering starts where people come over after 10
Yeah.
p.m. And I used to love staying up.
We used to stay up
Until basically
I remember driving home and it was literally like after the Idan.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah.
But now, because of obviously this whole thing,
Yeah.
I'm in bed by midnight and I'm
But
up at
I
7.
must say, actually, for the past 2 years, we've been quite oldies, I would say. And I remember
sleeping in.
by 12:01,
Yeah.
I remember that's when we gave
Let's
up.
say responsible.
Responsible.
But if anyone noticed in my routine, I don't wake up
Yeah.
to eat. What I usually do is I'd have my meal and break fast.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's 6:45 or close to 7, and then after that I'm quite full.
Yeah.
So right before I sleep by an hour, I'd
Yeah.
have another small meal. It's sometimes as simple as like Cocoa Puffs, oh my god, cereal. So it's as simple as cereal or maybe a sandwich, and then
Yeah.
I just sleep. And I'd obviously set an alarm right before sunrise and
To
prayer.
drink some-
I'll drink water.
Yeah.
So I'd only wake up to drink water and pray, but I wouldn't eat just because I just didn't like the feeling of eating at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And like Hassan said, it keeps me bloated.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sorry, but like you both are making me sound like so bad. You with your working out, and then Shehlaa with her like
Salad.
ideal family that has one dish and is so disciplined. And
I mean, you guys have met my family, and they are quite the disciplined type.
yeah.
I would say, but for me with suhoor, I used to be like you, Saleh, and I could sleep.
I used to be
I
like
used to be like you, but this year I couldn't. I think I need the energy.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need the carbs. I need, and I think even Hassan, we need, like, I don't think I can function on eating right before sleeping.
Yeah.
So like what I've been doing is I actually wake up, and we both wake up and we come downstairs and we actually have a meal.
Yeah.
Usually I either have something breakfasty where I try to do like eggs, a smoothie, oatmeal,
Yeah.
something nutritious, but I know that's going to be filling for a good few hours.
Yeah.
And then later on I'll just have water right before the imsak time, and then
Yeah.
that's it. But yeah.
I was thinking, just to wrap it up, maybe if we can all just say something real quick about what you'd like to achieve this Ramadan. Since we're starting off the month, I'd like to know from both of you, what is it that you're looking forward to achieve this month?
So for me, I mean, something I'll admit that I'm not exactly proud of, but I've actually never. So it's tradition during Ramadan to finish the Holy Quran,
Yeah.
to read it completely, and I've actually never done that. And I've always, and you know, I'm 31 now, so it's something that I've never done. I've obviously read, I've probably read it all in bits, but not.
Continuous.
Not all in one go.
So sorry. For those who don't know, there are 30 parts in the Quran. So there's 30,
Like chapters.
Yeah, 30 chapters. So a lot of people, what they do is they read a chapter a day.
Yeah.
And I think each chapter is 10 pages, I think.
It's actually around
No.
20. Cause,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm on.
I don't know.
I finished the third one today.
Oh,
so
really? You're on day,
Oh,
you're
good
on day
job.
3.
Yeah, because Ramadan is, it could either be 29 to 30 days.
Yeah.
So what they always advise is just to be careful
Yeah.
is always do the first 2 chapters in the day 1.
Okay.
And then a chapter every day, just in case it's
No,
29
I'm still on
days.
number 2. So
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's about 20 pages.
Oh, okay.
20, 21.
Okay, but yeah. So I just wanted to fill everyone in for those who don't know about that.
Yeah. So for me, that's something I really want to do this year, especially being a new father. I want to be a good role model, and
Yeah.
I can't, hopefully one day encourage my daughter to
do it.
to read the Quran if I
Yeah.
haven't done it myself.
I've done it where I've read a few chapters a day, and then I wouldn't read for a few days, and then I read like a few chapters again, and then
Yeah.
so I've done that. But I think, like Hassan said, I would like to read a chapter a day,
Yeah.
and then have that continuous flow of every single day sitting down and reading it.
Yeah.
But I think another thing, going back to what I said earlier, is I think I just want to connect. I want to try to connect spiritually.
Yeah.
And I would like to have more, again, going to back to that word, quality prayer time, quality Quran reading time, and just looking with it. Like I've even been trying to look within myself as to how I treat Hassan and treat my sister-in-law. And,
Yeah.
This year it's not really a lot of people.
Yeah.
But just those immediate
Closest
family.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's what I've been. That's what I would like to do, is just focus more on that.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you?
I think for me, it's mindfulness.
Okay.
I think that's something I want to look into because, alhamdulillah, like for me, I do obviously practice the, strengthening my connection and reading the Quran as well during the month. But I think for this specific Ramadan I just want to focus on mindfulness and being mindful of my loved ones, being mindful of those around me, being mindful about my own self-respect and my own self-image and stuff like that. So I think just to be mindful in all aspects of my life is something that I'm looking forward to achieve.
Okay.
Yeah. And something I want to add, so I know this episode has been pretty much all about Ramadan, but for those non-Muslims listening, we don't want you guys to think that Ramadan is a month that's exclusive to Muslims. While, of course, it's part of our religion, a lot of non-Muslims live in the UAE and in other Middle Eastern countries where Ramadan, or Muslim countries where Ramadan is practiced.
Yeah.
So I want to encourage those listening to reach out to your Muslim friends, ask them about Ramadan. They would love to involve you, I'm sure, because if any of my non-Muslim friends asked me, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, same.
Which usually happens. Like we do participate and like actually
involve
our
obviously
non-Muslim.
this year we won't be able to invite friends over for iftar like usual, but maybe you can have a virtual call or share some recipes with those that
I have a lot of expat friends that actually practiced fasting
Yeah,
as well.
same here.
And they'd update me about it. So it's something that goes beyond just religion.
Yeah.
It's more something about spirituality,
Connecting.
patience, connection, giving, kindness. So do reach out. And I think many Muslims out there will be more than happy to walk you through.
And to also to our Muslim listeners out there, reach out to your expat friends, make sure, or your non-Muslim friends rather, and make sure to check on them and see how they're doing during this time. I know a lot of my friends love like things like the Ramadan tents and the gatherings, and so they'll also be missing those
this year. That's true.
So just to wrap it up, we want to thank you guys for listening in on the 7th episode. I can't believe it's almost been 2 months since
we
we've
started
been
the
consistent.
podcast,
So very proud of ourselves. But we thank you guys for taking this journey with us, and we hope you enjoyed the episode today.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and please, as always, share your thoughts with us. You can reach us either on email or on Instagram. Our email is letsallscream.podcast@gmail.com, and our Instagram is @letsallscream, and we're also on Facebook. And everyone stay safe and happy Ramadan.
Happy Ramadan, guys. Take
Regards
care.
to your loved ones, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.